Hey, it's Captain Mike over at fishyourassoff.com, and for those of you not familiar with this YouTube channel, I do how-to fishing videos and take you out there fishing with me just to teach you how to become a better fisherman. It's basically all about simple tips to help you become a better fisherman, help you catch more fish. So today what I'm going to talk about is fishing inshore in the winter. Now in the winter time, the fish change a lot of their habits. You know, fall and spring is just incredible here. I'm on the Treasure Coast of Florida, but Florida in general, just amazing. So fish as much as you can for those. You know, the summer's great too. But winter, it gets a little tougher to figure out where the fish are because fish start to change their behaviors based on water temperatures. So once you know that you have to switch the way you're gonna go for these different fish. So one thing you definitely need to know is you're probably gonna wanna start your fishing day later for the most part. If there's any sun out, let it get in there, let it warm up the water. You know, all the banks that are facing south, so you have, say this is north and say this is south, right? So this shoreline, if this is a mangrove shoreline or a seawall or whatever it is, you know it's going to get heated up all day as the sun goes across the sky like this. So in the winter months, you definitely want to fish those parts that are going to get the sunlight. You wouldn't want to fish the south side of something like that because it's going to be in the shade most of the day if there's trees or mangroves like that. So there's just a couple degree water difference, but it can make all the difference in the world. So that's one of the things you got to change when you start fishing in the wintertime, is try to fish later if you can, so the water has time to heat up. And also you want to fish something with a southerly exposure. That's where the sun's going to be shining on it. So that's one thing you want to change. Number two, when these cold fronts come through Florida, you know, here's your water column, let's say. Well, the top part of the water column is going to be a lot more variable when it comes to temperatures. So the top part is going to be affected a lot, the top 2 or 3 feet, let's say, from that cold front, from that whatever. But down 10, 12 feet, it's not really going to be affected that much. Might be 2 or 3 degrees cooler, warmer down there. So that's great. That's going to work out perfect for you. So you want to get down there. That's where the fish are going to be. You know, they might move up to a muddy, sunny spot later in the day, but for the most part, they're going to be down deep. So you want to focus on that as well. Another thing you also want to do is you want to really downsize your baits and move them a lot more slowly than maybe you're used to. Like say you're fishing for trout and your normal retrieve is a double pump, let it sink, double pump, let it sink like that. Well, during the winter months, you might want to just barely move it. Just barely move this thing up and down. You know, trying to get the slightest bite you can, just in case they're hugging the bottom like that. Barely move it. And again, you want to focus on these places that have a lot of the sunlight exposure. So let's say this is east and west, and this is north and south. Okay, and it's a canal or something like that. You really, really want to focus on the ones that are going east and west, right? Because those canals, you're going to have this whole northern bank of them that's going to be sunlit all day. So if you're urban, you're fishing urban area, you definitely want to focus on that. That's what you want to focus on too. Any of those areas that's really, really going to be warmed up quite a bit. Another thing to keep in mind is if it's a sandy bottom you're fishing on, it's not going to warm up as quickly as a muddy bottom is going to. That dark bottom is going to be much more conducive for attracting the heat from the sun and holding the heat from the sun. So that's another thing you got to keep into, put in your mind when you're out there fishing. So you fish late, you fish deep. You definitely want something that gets the southern exposure. So if this is northern, you want to fish that bank. You don't want to fish the shady spots, and you want to shrink up your size a lot of the time of the bait you're using and slow down your presentation. If you can do all those things, the fish still might not be biting, so you might be out of luck. But you can maximize your fishing results if you can do something like that. I guess that's what my advice is in the end. Use those, and that's the way to do it. So I hope this helped. I hope you learned something, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.